have had to make decisions like, why am I unhappy? Okay, Stephanie Gaga hybrid person, why are you unhappy? Why is it that you want to quit music a couple years ago? I was like, well, I really don't like selling these, fragrances, perfumes. I don't like wasting my time spending days just shaking people's hands and smiling and taking selfies. It feels shallow to my existence. I have a lot more to offer than my image. I don't like being used to make people money. I feel sad when I'm overworked and that I've just become a money-making machine and that my passion and my creativity take a back seat. That makes me unhappy. So what did I do? I started to say, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. I'm not taking that picture. I'm not going to that event. I'm not standing by that because that's not what I stand for. And slowly but surely, I remembered who I am. And then you go home and you look in the mirror and you're like, yes, I can go to bed with you every night. Because that person, I know that person. That person has balls. That person has integrity. That person has an opinion. That person doesn't say yes. That person doesn't get a text from somebody and say, oh my God, they wrote this and they sent this emoji. Should I write this back? What do you think? Is that okay to say? Are they going to like me if I say that? Should I say something different? This is the age that we live in. We're not actually communicating with each other. We are unconsciously communicating
lies.
Lies.
Hey everyone, it's the Vigilant Christian Mario, and you're here for another edition of Satanic Illuminati Media Exposed. In today's video, I wanted to share that interview with you with Lady Gaga. I'm sure many of you have heard already about it. It's pretty much gone viral. Many people are saying that this is her coming out and speaking against the elite in the entertainment industry, that she is somehow breaking free and exposing what is going on. I don't believe that's the case. I don't think she's breaking free from being a pawn of the elite at all, and I'm going to show you that in today's video. I think there's something more sinister going on here, but there's a lot of great points that were made as well, so I'm going to highlight a few. Alright, so let's get into this. What was this all about? Now, the first thing that I want to point out is, and many others have mentioned it as well, at the start she mentions Stephanie Gaga, and then she calls herself a hybrid person. I'm not going to take too much time on that, but if you know about MK Ultra mind control, even demonic possession, how many entertainers in the entertainment industry will invoke a demonic personality within themselves, which is empowered by a demonic spirit. Eminem does it with his shady alter ego, and all of D12. There's 6 of them, but there's 12 because each one has a demonically inspired spirit alter, a hybrid personality that they invoke through opening themselves up to the devil. So that is what I think she was alluding to, but I'm not going to take too much time on that, but I'm sure there's a whole rabbit trail you could go down just on that. But just wanted to point that out there. She's talking about the fact that, as I've stated, these people embrace an altered personality, and they think this is part of a creative, artistic process, but it's not. It's something that people are deceived by demonic spirits into, that in essence allows them to become vessels for the demonic spirit to work through that alter ego, giving creative insight and empowerment to the artist. So be on guard, be vigilant. But what really got me, and I wanted to focus in on, is where she seems to be talking about the fact that she is unhappy being used by the entertainment industry. I have well documented in my video series right here, the Satanic Media Exposed series, that the entertainment industry is not something anyone wants to be a part of. That people, when they join themselves to this organization, are literally given themselves over and become nothing more than useless little puppets that are used oftentimes against their own best interest, and oftentimes they don't even want to be used that way. And we see that again. Lady Gaga, another puppet showing dissatisfaction, unhappiness from being used as a puppet within the entertainment industry. So I think that's very important to point out here. She's asking herself, why were you so unhappy? What made you want to quit music? That is something that I think all puppets of the entertainment industry need to ask themselves, and I'm sure they do in their own personal lives, and we don't hear about it. But she pointed out 4 things here that, you know, she gave reasons to why she's unhappy. And if we actually look at that, it's actually great illustrations on how the puppets themselves are unhappy and used by the entertainment executives and those in positions of power within the entertainment industry. You know, one of the things she mentioned was how she does not like to be selling fragrances or perfumes. Lady Gaga has a perfume called Fame. Okay, she has an album called Fame Monster. All right, so literally a monster of fame, a demon of fame. But here I had to censor it because she's naked on the cover, basically, with these little creepy black men walking all over her body. Interestingly enough, twistedly enough, I should say, the fragrance actually has notes of blood and semen. And it was a top seller at Super Drugs Mart, beating Beyonce and Madonna's garbage perfume fragrance full of toxic stuff that we shouldn't even be putting on our bodies or smelling. Anyway, but yeah, that's whack. I mean, blood and semen. Now, why would they put notes of blood and semen? There is also a very esoteric meaning to this. There's a deep occultic meaning. In the entertainment industry, to reach the levels that Lady Gaga has, you have to shed blood. At some point, you have to offer someone in a blood sacrifice. That's why we see blood, and they do blood rituals, because they're part of a satanic coven practicing these things because they believe it gives them power. Aleister Crowley, one of the top Satanists, wrote that they can access demonic power, even creative power for music, through sacrificing and drinking blood and things like this. So this is something that's practiced as a dark magic, a black art within the entertainment world, behind the curtains, and we're not supposed to know that, but they show us in plain sight. I mean, why else is there notes of blood and semen? Semen, because you have to be a sexual slave to the executives. You know, this is something that they've talked about. You know, there's a lot of pedophiles in the entertainment industry. Corey Feldman came out and talked about that growing up as a child star. That's one of the things that he said is the biggest problem in Hollywood is pedophilia. So, I mean, you have to give yourself over to the entertainment industry in sick, twisted ways, blood and semen. And this is like I said, an esoteric thing. But imagine being used like this. How degrading. So no wonder, I mean, even Lady Gaga at the end of the day is having a hard time with her conscience to be used as a puppet to promote this twisted nonsense garbage. So that's one thing that she pointed out, and I wanted to highlight that. Another thing she points out is how shallow of an existence she has, constantly taking selfies with her millions and millions of fans. I mean, she's forcing a smile. I mean, check, that's like pretty forced to me. And it just shows you the hollow existence of celebrity. You know, we in our culture are brainwashed by the media to actually think that this is something that is the pinnacle of human success. And it's not. It's a deception. It's a satanic deception, because it makes people believe that, oh yeah, I'm going to be so happy and fulfilled when you're miserable. I mean, she literally says all day long, I'm taking pictures and selfies with my fans and I'm forcing a smile and I'm so empty inside and I have so much more to offer, but the music industry that's pimped me out to sell their products, to use me in whatever way, they make me do these things as part of my you know, my publicist and my marketing team make me do these things. I hate it. Like, look at the shallow, pathetic existence. And this is one of the things. So anyone out there, if you want to go to Hollywood and have a career, you need to wake up and really see that even reaching the pinnacle of success in that organization isn't successful. It's actually a curse. There's no better way to put it, and she's actually telling us about this. She mentions that she doesn't like to be used to be a money machine for people, okay? And I even show you here in the picture. Now, I added with Photoshop the money, but this is an actual photo, and one thing that they're always doing, especially with Gaga in the beginning of her career, is they're showing esoteric meaning, so hidden occult meaning within the symbolism in her art. She's very artistic. I mean, that's one of the things as an artist that she brought to the table, was cutting edge, quote unquote, art, but it was nothing more than Satanism hiding, masquerading in the form of art. And here you see her symbolized wrapped around, so she's tied up, she's bound. So there's the symbolism of being tied up as an artist by illuminated lights, okay? So the elite, and she's looking up, okay? So you can see she's looking up, bound up. So she's creatively bound by the elite who use her as a money-making machine. Who wants to be like this? Okay, who wants to be bound up by those who control you and be used to be nothing more than a little puppet? Okay, this is a shallow existence, and this is what I'm telling you. They work you to the bone, to the point that you're just exhausted and overworked. Okay, and that's another thing that she said. So she has said no to that. Now, does that mean that Lady Gaga is saying to us that she's going to be she's going to stop being used to fulfill Satan's agenda? No, not at all. What it probably means is she's done with her career as being used as the biggest puppet almost that's ever hit the face of the earth. Looking back, she was one of the ones that really exposed the fact that occultism was being hidden in an esoteric fashion within the entertainment industry, making songs that were so anti-Christ. I mean, here she is in her music video for her song Judas, hugging and falling in love with the betrayer of Jesus. So, I mean, she went to the extreme, becoming a fame monster, you know, symbolizing the blood sacrifice on the stage, over in her performances, being used to satanically mind control and indoctrinate children, simulating vomiting on stage, looking like a dirty... I mean, come on. And at the end of the day, I mean, she's probably just fed up with this. She's had enough of being used to this extent. And I don't blame her. I mean, what human being could be used to this level of depravity for their entire life without having some sort of intense breakdown? I don't think that's possible. But she's definitely still going to be using being used to fulfill their agendas. And in that speech, in fact, she still was. What you need to keep in mind is this is a big plan. I'm going to give you the example of Jay-Z. Okay, Jay-Z is another puppet in the entertainment industry. So the elite use him because he's able to influence millions of people because they look up to him as a role model within the entertainment world. But they use Jay-Z in political ways. So here you see he's, you know, being used by the United Nations many times. He's got all these foundations and projects. So this is another way, because the foundations, the projects and initiatives that these entertainers are then used for do fulfill the overall globalization plan for the elite to bring about the New World Order system. All right, so I believe that's exactly what we're going to be seeing now with Gaga, because really all this was to promote her foundation, which is Born Brave. Okay, so if you actually investigate, this was a conversation that she was having at Yale University, where, by the way, there's tons of Skull and Bones members. Okay, so there's probably some Skull and Bones members sitting there in the audience who are going to be given positions of power, very powerful positions who can shape the future, and they're being fed this propaganda, this foundation, Born This Way, this LGBT anti-God movement, this foundation that Lady Gaga is really a part of. And that's what I'll leave linked up in the description section, so you can start doing your investigation if you want to help me find out exactly what they're all about. But briefly, what I was able to see here is this is a foundation that is about, well, first of all, Born This Way Foundation. That should be alarming to anyone. You know, people who are embracing their depraved, fallen, sinful nature. And Born This Way Foundation is committed to supporting the wellness of young people and empowering them to create a kinder and braver world. We achieve this by shining a light on real people, quality research, and authentic partnership. So that's what Gaga was doing here. You know, she's promoting this this program at Yale University, and she's also been supported by Oprah when she first opened up this. I mean, it's been at Harvard, it's been at Yale, so really big foundation. Anytime you see Oprah part of anything, you know that she's all about the new earth as well, this new age, Luciferian, intolerant, hiding under the guise of tolerance, new age thought movement. So you got to be on top of her. But yeah, so this is what it's about, and they're all about the emotion revolution, which I found to be Actually quite interesting to say the least. We see here the emotion revolution was launched on the basic belief, supported by a growing body of scientific research, that emotions are fundamental to a young person's decision making, academic achievement, and overall well-being. All right, well, according to the research, Lady Gaga's foundation, they are finding that there is a growing amount of research that show that children and people, young people, should make their decisions based upon emotion. They should just go with their heart. If they feel a certain way sexually, they need to embrace that. It's okay. So they're looking for scientific evidence to support this, that is the way to true human emotional fulfillment and success in life. That a person will be happy this way. But this is actually anti-Bible, anti the teachings of what the Bible has to say, God has to say. God says your heart, therefore your emotional system, is deceitful above all things, desperately wicked. Who can know it? Okay, so you need to be on guard. I mean, come on. I mean, that's like something they fed us in little cartoons when we were kids. It sounds nice. Oh, follow your heart. But at the end of the day, man, I've followed my heart in real life, and you know how many times I've loved on people that were bad for me, toxic, how many times I've loved things that are destructive for me. My heart isn't this pure, noble, divine thing. Get real. Get a reality check, okay? The Bible is the truth, and the Bible declares that the heart is not some divine, beautiful, hippie, Care Bear thing that's going to lead you down to the path of roses and green pastures, okay? In fact, it is deception to follow the heart. But here we see this institution, this Born This Way Foundation, coming in with the support of Gaga, saying the exact opposite. No surprise. So instead of being used by the elite to get on stage and get full of blood, have a dancer vomit on her, promote occultism and all this stuff, she's really going to get into the more groundworks, like grassroots type of movement, where she's going to try and push these ideologies through Yale, Yale Center of Emotional Intelligence and the Born This Way Foundation. They had this partnership, so they're working together. So the leading minds of America and her foundation. So this is just a new way for her to be used by the elite. I'm sure they don't care, because at the end of the day, maybe they can't use her like they just did anymore, but they can still find purpose in her because she has a large following, and whatever Gaga says, the mindless crowd will just follow. That's what they do. They follow whatever their stars and idols say on Instagram and Twitter, mindlessly liking and sharing their post because they've been programmed to behave in such a way. Now, it's quite interesting too, if you take the time here and you look at what type of emotional research is providing this emotional revolution that's taking place with the Born This Way Foundation. Well, they're saying it's emotional intelligence. Now, from my background, before I became a full-time YouTuber, I actually worked in customer service at the bank. So when you had some type of banking issue with your credit card or whatever, and you called the number on the back of the card, I was the customer service guy. And in the customer service program at the bank, they taught us about emotional intelligence. And if you actually go to the Lady Gaga site here, you're actually going to see here that they're talking about emotional intelligence and how they believe that there's an emotion evolution coming. But what I find interesting is, from what I know about emotional intelligence, that makes no sense. How is that even correlated? Okay, emotional intelligence is the capacity to be aware of or control and express one's emotions, and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. Okay, so I had to develop emotional intelligence as a customer care representative, because when I would receive a phone call from someone, I would have to be aware and intelligent enough to recognize some triggers. If that person is having a bad day, I would need to be aware of that. So that's emotionally intelligent. If they're having a good day, you become aware of the emotion in order to understand it, perceive the emotion, have intelligence, how you can manage it, and how you can use the emotion to make the customer experience better. Now, what in the world does that have to do with Born This Way, with LGBT children? This is, to me, I'm going to keep investigating this, they're just finding a pathetic way to twist the research about emotional intelligence to further their agenda. Emotional intelligence has nothing to do with kids just, oh, I feel this way, so I need to embrace it. I feel like having sex with boys and I'm a boy. Well, that's not emotional intelligence. That has nothing to do. So I'm very interested to see how they're even twisting this research to fit their agenda. But somehow they believe they're leading an emotional revolution there. But I'm going to keep investigating it, but that's just my first couple thoughts, and I know it's been a little while since the video was posted, and many of you wanted to know my comments on it, so there you go. That's what I think. I don't think she broke free. I don't think because she wouldn't be on doing this organization, right? This organization is New World Order. It's Agenda 2030. It's the mindset that needs to be established in society for the New World Order to take place. So she's still actively working as she's sitting there, quote unquote, exposing them. All right, so that's another thing with Luciferians, right? They're always going to hide truth with error, so be on guard for that. But did she break free? No, not at all. She made some great points. I mean, there's a lot to take about a Hollywood puppet insider and their dissatisfaction. I mean, I think that's legit and clear. She's not happy being used, and she did say no, but she's still going to be used for other purposes anyway. So she's still on their team, right? Like, she doesn't care about God and glorifying God and doing truth. She still wants to be used, just in a different way, where she wants to feel better, right? Like Jay-Z on the UN and her with this foundation at Yale instead of on stage and taking selfies. So she's still going to be a servant of Satan. Thanks for taking the time. This is the Vigilant Christian saying God bless each and every one of you. As always, remember, stay vigilant and fear no evil.